To produce beautiful, colorful offspring that are descended from your own pair of fish, you need to follow these guidelines. These monogamous offerings release their eggs on a nesting surface and later fertilize them with pollen from both males or females in order for it be successfully bred out again. You view post. What color are angelfish eggs? What you need to know: the angelfish has a reputation for being an elusive fish. It's often hard to tell when they are ready and if there will be any babies coming out of their eggs, but it is possible that you could have some fry in your tank soon. If the coloration looks off or different from what one would expect, eggs should always start white. Then this might mean something happened between breeding pairs, so no males were available at all. Normal color of angelfish eggs: the males of this species are exceptionally parental, tending to spend time around their eggs before they hatch. They will watch over them and make sure everything is okay with the nest area, even if it's not something that can be seen immediately upon inspection. See more. However, if you notice semi-transparent tiny eggs and the male in their vicinity, then it's likely that they have been fertilized. These insects typically hatch anytime soon, so keep your eyes peeled. Angelfish eggs change color when you get an angelfish egg. The color is usually white, with hints of yellow, and owners often wonder what causes it to change. There are actually several reasons for this, but they can be prevented by following these tips. If your water parameters stay consistent or improve, then chances will decrease that discoloration will occur. Make sure there isn't too much light exposure, because algae loves bright suns, which means more nutrients, so keep them carpeted in plants, shrubs accordingly if possible, since less sunlight equals lower chance unfertilized eggs. If you notice your fertilized eggs changing coloration in any way, it's a good indication that they are not going to hatch. In cases like these, I would recommend carefully monitoring them and watching for changes until their shells turn opaque white or almost black. This usually occurs about 14 days after incubation begins, though sometimes longer. If there is no male around the clutch, then chances are everything will be okay. However, if he has been spending plenty of time with his pregnant partner before she lays her first egg, well, let's just say all bets could. You know those times when you have a whole bunch of eggs that just refuse to turn anything but white? Don't get discouraged. If this happens, simply remove the egg from your tank so it doesn't worsen water quality. On top of actually being able to hatch them, which isn't always possible, doing something like this also helps with determining which gender lives within an individual species. Usually females will be brighter than males, because they're looking for marriage proposals while out swimming around looking attractive. Poor water quality angelfish are beautiful fish with delicate colors that require specific water parameters in order to thrive. If these aren't provided, there will be no predisposition for them. Even after being successfully fertilized, their eggs tend to turn white when exposed too long without proper care or neglectful conditions like unfertilized ones do. To rule out this concern, you can use an appositely designed kit from your local pet store if possible. But it's always best practice perform freshwater tests at home first before sending any livestock registered trademark symbol samples off-site, so we know what kind of quality control checking processes exist along perhaps different regions within one country. Lastly, you can always have a look at your thermometer, and perhaps even check some pH levels to ensure that they are appropriate for baby fish. Incorrect temperature or high acidity values could lead the eggs being unable of hatching into fry. Strong water flow angelfish are delicate fish that need a mild water flow to survive. If you have a strong current, though, they won't be able to get fertilized in the first place. Even if it does happen slightly less often than other types of Oscars do, there's no way for them release their sperm properly with such intense currents, so everything gets rerouted towards where eggs would otherwise end up being laid instead. These opaque white morphs appear within days after, sooner rather than later, depending on how long your tank has been running without any breaks at all. Fungus infection. While it is not always easy to tell the difference between eggs that have been fertilized and those which remain empty, Bacteria infected or fungus infested can be identified by their appearance. If you notice any symptoms of illness in your tank, such as white patches on fish skin accompanied with sliminess, this may mean an infection has made its way into one corner. If left untreated for long enough, this could lead to formality throughout all areas where nest building occurs. Some people have found that adding methylene blue to their tank water can help prevent fungus infections in angelfishes. If you want the best chance at keeping your fish healthy, make sure it's kept at a high pH level greater than 8. Damaged eggs. Some people think that damaged angelfish eggs can be safely transported to a new tank. However, these fish are delicate, and any kind of trauma could end up killing them, or making it difficult for the baby brain tumor or Altaria inside the egg. Whatever you do. Do angelfish eat discolored eggs? The parents of an angelfish will eat any transparent or white eggs that are not viable to save the others. This can be seen as a great act for two reasons. Firstly, it shows how much care these fish take with their clutch. Secondly, but just as importantly, if there is anything wrong within its nest, then maybe eating one would cure whatever medicinal needs they have. Can you treat angelfish eggs with methylene blue? Methylene blue is a type of aquarium disinfectant that can be used to treat fungus infections on angelfish eggs. It's safe for use, and there are absolutely no negative effects from using this chemical in your tank. Wrapping up the angelfish is a schooling fish that can be found in most types of saltwater tanks. It's not unusual for them to lay hundreds of eggs at once, but only some have been fertilized and need attention from you as well. When it comes down how they are colored, make sure your eye tells what type there are, because colors vary depending on health vs unwell or old specimens.